When Ford launched the Raptor in the Philippines in 2018, it took the market by storm. I have a lot of friends and we see a lot of Raptors all on the road, probably even more than Wildtracks. But Toyota says not anymore. They've got a proper performance truck competitor for the Raptor. This is the Hilux GRS, and we'll see just how much performance they've added to build this truck. Hey everyone, Vince here from AutoIndustriya, and finally we've got the Hilux GRS for you today. We've been asking for over a year to try out this truck, and I can imagine that with all the test drives, all the events, we kind of had to wait for a while. But anyways, Hilux GRS. This is different from the GR Sport variant of the Hilux. They launched a couple of years ago already. This is kind of the replacement, but they've leveled it up in many ways. But first, story time on the Hilux. It's really one of the most, if not the most well-known pickup truck nameplate all over the world, because the toughness of this, proven over all kinds of terrain, carrying all kinds of stuff, even way above there over in Thailand where this is actually made. They've tested this in deserts, snow, volcanic conditions, wars. That's the kind of toughness the Hilux has always offered all of its customers all around the world. But in the last couple of years, Toyota has been aggressive with the GR or the Gazoo racing brand. And that's where GRS comes from, GR Sport, or is it GRS now? Because there was the other variant, the GRS, which is more of a cosmetic upgrade with maybe some slight suspension upgrades. This one, a bit more comprehensive. Now, in terms of the look, first, you can see it is a wide truck. The reason for the extra width is not because they stretch out the body, maybe they did a little bit, but it's really with the wheel arches. They extended it with this, as you know, wider wheel arches adds 10 horsepower. And then we look at the front grille. They removed the T emblem there. They put in TOYOTA, very classic, and the wider black grille adds another 5 horsepower. By the way, this right here is one of the sensors for the adaptive cruise control of the vehicle. Now, going around, you have the silver trim there. It's a bit higher the way they redid the suspension. And you can see here, red springs for the suspension. If you come in closer, you'll see red springs there. The reason for that? Well, it's got different suspension from the standard Hilux, adds a lot more horsepower. And if you look at the wheels, you'll see the GR brake calipers there. That subtracts HP because, brakes do slow down the car. One thing I want to point out here, they put in tires that are about 30 inches external diameter, outside diameter, OD. I wish they put in like bigger tires, because the wheel wells kind of look a bit, spacious. So they could add a bit more of that, make it nicer overall. One thing I want to note here is that they deleted, if not all, the chrome on the vehicle you would normally find. So door handles, side mirrors, even the Hilux emblem is black. Also, in terms of the side steps, in other markets, they actually put in rock sliders. But in the Philippines, they put in side steps because I guess they think we're not as serious off-roaders as some of the other markets. So I kind of wish they put in the rock sliders there, because that would have been a very meaningful upgrade for a model they're calling the Hilux. Now, if we go here, we'll see that there is a red monotube suspension over there, which is a big upgrade over the previous one. Adds another 10 horsepower there. The suspension in the back is also still leaf spring. It's not coil spring. That is a key difference with this Hilux over the Ranger Raptor, because the Ranger Raptor, they went for the coil springs. It's a bit softer, so it glides over the rough stuff. This one, it still is very much a truck capable of carrying load because of the leaf spring suspension. Another change, they removed the rear stabilizer, gives you a bit more articulation. Now, from that view of the back, you can see that it is wider because of the wheel wells. Again, we would prefer larger diameter tires in terms of the outside diameter. Maybe they can do 31.5 for this vehicle. Now, the back, you can see it's got black Hilux there, black Toyota there, and the GR Sport emblem again adds a lot of HP. Now, when we open this, if we were on level ground, the rear of the Hilux, or its deck height, is higher than normal. This is about 36 inches above the ground, which is kind of high compared to a lot of others. Normally we see around 34, thereabouts. Now, the length here, like from here to there, is about 57 inches. The width between here is about 60, and between the wheel wells is about just like 41.5, there or thereabouts. The height here is about 18.5. But one thing we want to note, there is a little bit of a difference with this one, because if you notice, normally the Hilux GRS, it comes with the sail here in the back. This particular unit, they had it removed. I don't know why. Maybe it's maybe they hit something, I don't know, but it's removed right now in this vehicle. Also, it does have a torsion spring there to help you lift it up, but when it comes down, it does slam down a bit hard. And there are no like charging ports here, or no threaded holes where you can install like accessories. So keep that in mind if you're looking at a Hilux. The back is still very much utilitarian, no matter which variant of the Hilux you get. Now let's check out what's under the hood. Powering the Hilux GRS is the 1GD FTV. Yes, it's pretty much the same as the other Hilux variants, particularly the 4x4 one in the high state of trim. However, the one on the GRS is a higher state of trim, because in terms of performance, it's got 224 PS and 550 Newton meters of torque. The standard like Conquest has about 204 and 500 Newton meters. Both do come with a 6-speed automatic transmission with the part-time 4-wheel drive system. Later you'll see it when we do the selection in there. So yes, there is more performance in this performance-oriented Hilux variant. But what else do we spot? We do spot the hood dampers. You don't get that in the standard model. And the insulator. So yes, all these things add 1 HP each. But one thing that really detracts from the experience is when you look inside here, because you'll spot 2 horns that have a very tinny voice. I think that subtracts about 50 HP easily. So the back seat of the Hilux GRS, well, it seems pretty standard, because aren't really any changes in terms of the ergonomics and all that. Still the same with the seat back pockets, with your hooks right here on either side. Rear AC vents, that's a nice touch. But you got this center armrest here, which is good, with 2 cup holders there. And your vehicle, or at least the rear of the Hilux GRS, has these seats that can tilt up and you can clip it there. And then you've got storage underneath here for your tools and such, or anything you want to keep away from prying eyes. But as we know, these red seat belts, these add 1 horsepower each. So the driver's seat of the Hilux GRS, I mean, the interior, the dashboard is very standard Hilux. I mean, with this design, we've become familiar with this over the last, I think, what, 8 years now, or 9 years, thereabouts. So still the standard Hilux dashboard with the upper compartment and the lower compartment. You get the same kind of look, but you have a bigger touch screen here. And by the way, finally, it has wireless Android Auto. So you can activate that, no problem. Gives us what we need. Right now, there's no map in this area because we are in the middle of nowhere, which is nice. Now, out of that, into there, there are no apps, like there's no clinometer or anything that we can spot because, yeah, nothing there in terms of off-road specific stuff, or you can't even adjust it to show you more information depending on what information you want to see. So I would have wanted that in this screen, but it's nice that it has wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. If you want to use the wired kind, it's got USB ports right here, USB and USB-C. Makes it nice and convenient. Now, AC vents there, again, still very standard. Even the clock here, that's something we've become used to with the Hilux already. But the changes here, as you know, it all adds horsepower, right? Steering wheel, it's got the GR logo there, adds 3 horsepower. You look, the paddle shifters here, adds 1 horsepower each. The instrument cluster has that neat little, the bezel design, also very nice. And the GR graphics later when we show you on the instrument cluster when it starts up, another 5 horsepower there. The trim here also adds 1 horsepower because it's a different trim from the one you normally get. Headrest with the GR logo embossed and stitched there adds 5 horsepower each. And red seatbelts here in front as well adds 1 horsepower. And the floor mats adds 5 horsepower each. Of course, we jest. But that's really been the thing with the GR. They have all these touches that make it feel more GR. So they have to do that to make it to justify what the vehicle can do. And mind you, it can do quite a lot. So you look down here, you'll see your 4-wheel drive controls. So you have your 2-wheel drive high right now, we're at that. Then your 4-wheel drive high and 4-wheel drive low there, depending on the kind of driving that you're gonna do. You have the rear locking differential. There's no front locking differential, but still the rear is gonna be plenty for the kind of driving that most of us tend to do. Your downhill assist control, USB port, 2 12-volt outlets there. The transmission control is right here. It's the gate type, so it's P, R, and D, and R. You do get your 360 camera. The resolution, not fantastic, but it is usable all in all. And then neutral, drive, and then you have the sport mode right here. Push to shift up, pull to shift down, or you can just use the paddle shifters over here. Now out of that, you have 2 driving modes, eco and power. So pretty standard stuff from what we usually get in a Hilux. Lever handbrake here. You do not get the auto brake hold type because again it is a lever handbrake. You have a little tray here for your stuff, and here's the key of the GRS. Lock, unlock, and then the alarm there. That's again normal stuff for the Hilux. In the compartment here, normal Hilux stuff. Rear view mirror, it's the auto dimming kind, which is always a nice touch. Standard sun visors, no mirror on this side, only on that side. Sunglass holder here. Actually, it's an RFID card holder. Oh, it's a third one. Easy. It's got 2 easy trips. Wonder why. Anyways, let's take it out and see how the Hilux GRS behaves, because I hear it's different from the Raptor in how this feels on the road. So we're finally on the road with the Toyota Hilux GRS. And already there are a few things I'd like to tell you about the vehicle. I always do anyway. The first is that if you're looking at this as a Ranger Raptor alternative, meaning you expect the same kind of ride as a Ranger Raptor, then you will be disappointed. It is softer than the standard Hilux variants, but compared to the Raptor, it's nowhere near. And the reason is Toyota did not want to give up the truckness of the vehicle. And what I mean by that is that a truck in Toyota's eyes has to be able to carry a lot of cargo in the back. Now, if you notice the examples of the Raptor you've seen that may be loaded up to the brim in the back, the rear kind of squats. That's a trade-off with that kind of suspension. Because when you soften the suspension, it just gets a bit more difficult to carry load. That's why all trucks tend to have really strong suspensions because of the leaf springs. This one still has leaf springs, so you will feel more of the road. It will feel bouncy when you're on, let's say, off-road or on a, let's say, dirt road, that kind of thing. It will feel that way. It will not feel like a Raptor, nowhere near. It also tends to move around a lot because when I was driving earlier on that rough road leading to River Ranch, it was, shall we say, there's quite a bit more movement with the body of the vehicle, particularly the rear. And the reason is Toyota removed the sway bar. So when you disconnect the sway bar or remove it, or anti-sway bars for that matter, the reason it's called an anti-sway bar is to prevent sway. So without it, you sway a little bit more and you can feel it in this one. So those are just the trade-offs with the vehicle. But if you know that coming in, then you can actually enjoy the car because it does have power. Like here, let's floor it now. The response is good from the 2.8 liter, the 1GD. I like that engine. It's a very powerful engine in this guy. I mean, not very powerful, but they certainly tuned it well to feel so much better. And if I was to compare it to the bi-turbo and the Ranger Raptor, I'd pick this any day of the week. And also the transmission of this being a 6-speed is not fancy like the 10-speed in the Raptor, but that's okay because again, being a truck, it's going to be robust, it's proven, it's easy to maintain, it's a known quantity. And that's why when the first generation of Raptor, like in 2018, came out, there were some problems with the transmission. It's because, well, complex and all that. This one just keeps chugging along. I'm sure they made some improvements with the transmission, but still, it feels good. Nothing wrong with it. So why change that? Just tune it up a little bit more, because the 2.8 liter can handle more power. They're just really conservative with the kind of tuning that they put into the vehicle. Actually, when they announced the GRS Hilux a couple of, I think, more than a year ago, I was actually kind of chuckling. It's like, oh, there we go again. We got body kit, but no performance upgrade. But when they did, it's like, okay, great. And that's something we can really appreciate. But there's also a trade-off with having a little bit more power from the same engine, and that's the fuel economy. Now, we noticed in our city drive of this earlier, we were getting around 7.7 kilometers per liter out of this engine, average speed of about 18, which I thought was significantly lower than what I thought it would be. Normally in a Hilux, we get around 9, maybe 10. You can even get more if depending on how you drive. In this one, no. So it's a bit less. So keep that in mind. Maybe your experience is different. Maybe it's this one only, because there are a few things we also notice here, like the rear. There's a noise coming from the back, like particularly with the chassis. I think it's maybe the way the bed is bolted to the chassis, or maybe with the leaf spring suspension. I can't isolate the noise, but there is a bit of noise there. So that's again, sample size of 1. So we'll see how that goes. And wow, that's a loud motorcycle. You can hear a bit more of what's going on around you. That's just to be expected out of the Hilux, because it's not the premium glass or premium insulation. That's just the normal fare for this. So yes, enjoyable power, enjoyable handling. That's something that surprised me. I mean, Hilux was never known for handling or anything, but still, this one seems to be pretty good. The things though that I would really want improved, I already mentioned the rear, the sound there, but the one thing I would want improved is a bit more with the interior. Maybe Toyota's saving it for the next generation Hilux, because I think they're already preparing for that. But the interior of this one, they never really changed it when they went for the facelift of the vehicle, and that was a shame. So this interior is pretty much the same as the Hilux that you've tried since 2016. So they never upgraded it, they never updated it. So when you look at this compared to, let's say, the Raptor like looks far more advanced. Again, it's really up to you whether that's the kind of truck that fits your lifestyle, because that's what really defines the choices that we have. It's all up to you. What fits you? What do you prefer? Which dealership is closer to you for service? What kind of driving do you do? All these things factor into the choice. And what Toyota is giving you is a different take on a kind of performance truck. And that's something that is always a good thing. More choice. Great. Here we are at River Ranch, about to take a dip. And we'll see how this goes. Taking it like a champ. I'm in 4-low with the diff locked. I'm just trying to cross to that over there. This is not really like a super adventure type. We're just crossing over some rocks for the photos and the video, and seems to be okay. I can't take it too fast, but thankfully the ground clearance is plenty. So there we go. That's fun. So let's go around over there, see what we get. It's nice. I mean, the ground clearance, they didn't give a number, surprisingly, for the ground clearance, but I imagine it's quite a substantial increase. And let's cross back over to the other side of River Ranch. There are quite a few tall rocks, but so far perfectly fine here, so long as I don't get it too fast and bring it up the way I came in through there. So let's try to take it slow. We're just crossing the river. Okay. And what I was told was stay left of that. That's our marker. And stay between this gate. That's another marker. So far the underside hasn't scraped. I don't have anything to explain yet. And there we go. Back across, easy peasy. And gently turn it, and yeah. All right. I know that's not very complicated off-roading for you guys. I'm not a professional, I'm an amateur, but still good fun. I think the question on everyone's mind when it comes to the Hilux GRS is that, does it kill the Ranger Raptor? And my answer to that is no. Because a lot of the things about the Hilux are different compared to the Raptor. Yes, it is a performance-oriented variant of the Hilux, but I don't think they're really going for the Ranger Raptor in that same kind of sense. Yes, you can take it off-road, you can drive it fast off-road, but the ride is going to be very different from the Raptor in the way they did the suspension, because they still wanted to carry weight in the back. So they had to firm it up a bit more compared to the Raptor, which, as you know, a Raptor, when you put cargo in it, it kind of sags over there in the back because they prioritize how it glides over the rough stuff. This one, they still want to make it handle the tough stuff. Now, when it comes to the pricing, it's also different because this one retails at just around 2.17 million. The Raptor is now at 2.35. So there's a big difference there in terms of the kind of customer they're going for. And when you look at the technology, it's also very different. This is going to be something that you're going to depend on because it's a tougher truck but more basic in many ways. The Raptor is more technologically, I guess, equipped in many ways. So it really depends on you what you want to pick. Personally, I really wish there was some kind of really performance variant of the Navara, or maybe even the Triton. Ooh, Triton Rally Art. They really should come out with a performance variant of that for us in our market.